5 Days in Calcutta by Fred Perry. Fade in. A dimly lit living room with high wood beams. The place is incredibly messy. A tall ladder is positioned behind the sofa, which sits in the center of the room. A stained tarp is draped over some large objects in the corner of the room. Somewhere in the room, a man groans painfully. A loud knock on the front door. More groaning. Something moves slightly atop the back of the sofa. 2 bare feet, their soles facing us, are propped on top of the sofa back. The feet wiggle again. Louder groaning. Louder knocking. From behind the sofa,
It's open.
door swings open and Sid Heller enters. He's in his 40s, graying and clearly affluent. He carries a black medical bag. He gazes about the room, perplexed.
Bernie!
Over here.
Sid turns to the sofa, sees the 2 bare feet, crosses to the front of the sofa, deposits his medical bag on the coffee table, then kneels on the sofa between the 2 feet and cautiously peers down over the backrest.
What in God's name?
Ankles. Ankles.
Sid glances back and forth between the 2 feet, removes a pair of glasses from his pocket and puts them on. He studies the ankles with clinical gravity. He extends a finger and barely touches one of the ankles.
Ah! They're broken!
I'm the doctor, Bernie. I'll tell you if they're broken or not.
He looks at the ankles from another angle.
I think they're broken.
Sid stands, walks behind the sofa, stares down at Bernie.
How'd this happen? On the phone you sounded like you were dying.
I was trying.
Can you move?
If I could move, Sid, I wouldn't have called. I just would have gone ahead and killed myself.
Sid reaches down.
Ow! Hands are messed up too.
Sid gently helps Bernie Heller, mid-30s, disheveled, crawl out from behind the sofa. He wears faded flannel pajamas and crawls on elbows and knees like a wounded crab to the front of the sofa. Sid hoists him to a sitting position on the sofa. Bernie groans painfully and slowly leans forward, reaches over the coffee table, and with agonizing difficulty manages to grasp the half-empty bottle of booze between the thumb and forefinger of his throbbing right hand. He cranes the bottle to his lips at an awkward angle and takes a drink.
You're drunk.
No shit.
Sid shakes his head with revulsion, then places a throw pillow on the coffee table, lifts Bernie's discolored ankles, gently deposits them on the pillow, and scrutinizes them.
You need to get that swelling down.
Why? I won't be needing my feet anymore.
I'll give you something for the pain.
Corpses don't feel pain, Sid.
Discoloration is... What do you mean you tried to kill yourself?
I mean, I tried to kill myself.
By breaking your ankles?
Bernie points to the overhead beam.
I tried to hang myself.
Bernie painfully reaches up to his throat with his right hand, produces a severed section of thin rope, which is still tied in a noose around his neck. Sid grabs the rope, stares at it, and looks up at the beam.
With a skip rope?
I couldn't find my gun. When I jumped off the ladder, the rope snapped.
Sid gently inspects Bernie's left hand, then hoists his right hand and rotates it unceremoniously a couple of times.
Ow!
Sid lowers Bernie's hand, then removes the noose.
Why so dramatic? Why not just crank up the gas and go out with some dignity?
I turned it off yesterday.
Sid exits to the kitchen.
What are you doing?
Getting some ice on those feet, then I'm taking you to my office for x-rays.
Big brother, the renowned Dr. Heller, humanitarian living monument to morality. Hey, Sid, you banging your new receptionist yet? She's all of what, 19, or is that pushing it?
Is it your sole mission in life to reduce everything to its most vulgar elements?
I don't know, Doctor. Why don't we get a second opinion from Linda?
Leave my wife out of this. I need something to wrap this ice in. Dish towels, plastic bag?
Aren't any.
What about a dishpan?
Sink.
What?
Under the sink.
Where's the mud?
Huh?
Max, I don't see Max.
No response. Bernie drinks. Sid reappears at the door, scrutinizes Bernie.
You had to take him to the vet again, didn't you? No wonder you're always broke, blowing all your money to keep that ancient flea bag alive.
I don't want to talk about it.
Fine.
Sid goes back into the kitchen. A moment, then
Jesus Christ!
Sid bursts through the door, frantically brushing off his arms, pissed.
Are you aware of the fact that the cabinet under your sink is crawling with ants?
Yeah, so?
Would you please explain why anyone in his right mind would purposely dump a 10-pound bag of sugar under his kitchen sink?
Alright, look at the kitchen counter. Go on, you looking?
I'm looking already.
What do you see?
What do you mean?
You see ants up there, Sid? You see one ant up there, huh? Used to be ants all over that counter. No more ants on the counter, Sid. That's why the sugar, okay?
You could have sprayed them.
Didn't want to slaughter them, Sid. I just wanted them off the counter.
You stopped taking your pills again, didn't you?
No response.
No wonder you're nuts. Where are they?
I don't know, lost them.
Sid shakes his head, re-enters the kitchen. Bernie starts to take another swig from the bottle, then freezes as he spots Sid's medical bag on the coffee table. He glances at the kitchen door, then quickly leans forward, manages to open the bag with his right hand, eases his hand inside, searches, finds something, and pulls out a bottle of pills. He quickly uncaps the bottle with his teeth, dumps a bunch of pills into his mouth, and washes them down with the booze. At that moment, Sid re-enters the living room carrying a huge dishpan and 2 trays of ice cubes. He sees Bernie gulping down the pills, races over to the sofa, places the dishpan on the floor, then yanks the pill bottle out of Bernie's hands. Sid snaps his eyes down on the pill bottle, reads the label, his jaw drops.
My God, how many of these did you take?
Enough to do the job.
Bernie, these are water pills. What were you gonna do, piss yourself to death?
Sid drops the bottle back into his medical bag, shoves the bag to the far end of the coffee table, and then starts dumping the ice cubes into the dishpan.
Why not just call an ambulance? This is normal procedure with a nutcase, isn't it?
This isn't a normal situation. We're family.
How noble.
What do you mean?
I mean, don't jerk me off. You just wouldn't score too many points with those shitheels you hang out with if they found out what a flake your little brother was.
Everybody already knows what a flake you are.
Touché.
Sid reaches up, carefully lifts Bernie's legs off the table, and eases his feet into the dishpan.
I didn't create your miserable life, so don't try to lay any guilt on me because you turned into a cynical prick.
The phone rings. Sid crosses behind the sofa, retrieves the phone from the floor, starts to answer. Bernie waves him off.
Hi, I'm in Paris consulting the Louvre till June 5th, so leave a message and I'll get back to you.
The answering machine beeps.
This is Dory again, you bastard, and I don't give a damn where you're hiding. You send that support payment this week or I'll have your lazy ass back in jail.
The message ends.
People say the family unit is dead.
Bernie reaches towards the overflowing ashtray at the end of the table, selects a cigarette butt, lights it, takes a deep drag, coughs. Sid observes him with disgust, then glances down at Bernie's answering machine.
You've got 85 unanswered calls here.
Yeah, screw 'em.
Haven't you got any money?
I'll tell you what I've got. I've got an ex-wife and 2 kids who live in a Bel Air mansion with some semi-literate slug who made a fortune selling bathroom fixtures. Not much of a conservationalist, but mention toilet seats and Jesus Christ, you can't shut the prick up.
You self-righteous bastard. Why do you think Dory packed up the kids and left 4 years ago? She was scared to death. What kind of life were you offering them? This dung heap? At least now, Bobby and Chris have stability in their lives.
Stability? Chris is poking his best friend's 43-year-old mother, and Bobby's turned into some kind of blue-haired queen of the fairies with a cock ring. He's 14, Sid. 14 years old with screaming hormones and a piece of steel through his dick. That's what toilet seats did for my kids.
Bernie abruptly slumps, overcome with emotion, and weeps. He reaches over, gingerly picks up a loose sock lying on the end of the table, and attempts to blow his nose with it.
Please don't do that.
Sid pulls a handkerchief out of his pocket, plucks the sock away from Bernie with a thumb and forefinger, deposits it behind the sofa, then hands the handkerchief to Bernie and sits.
Know what I think?
I'm consumed by interest.
Part of your problem is simple. Self-delusion.
Thank God, I was starting to get cocky.
Shut up. Look at this mess. And that ridiculous tape. It's absurd. Like your whole life, you wallow in all this self-pity by somehow manage to believe that you are superior to me, to everyone, to the world.
Yeah, that sort of covers it, yeah.
You had one art show, Bernie. It ran 5 days in Calcutta. Look at you. You're 41 years old, no job, no friends, with the sole exception of some flatulent old mongrel with bad breath and arthritis. You smoke cigarette butts, and for Christ's sake, Bernie, you can't even pay your gas bill.
Pause. Bernie drinks.
You could still make something out of your life, Bernie.
Silence. Bernie broods.
It was a good show, Sid.
Bernie, I know. I bought 2 pieces myself, remember? I love your work. So do a lot of other people, but that was over 4 years ago. You haven't done any work since.
I've been sending my portfolio around.
You haven't touched a brush since Dory walked out on you.
Palette knife.
What?
Palette knife. I work with a palette knife, Sid. And a lot of other kind of shit, but I don't use brushes. I hate brushes. How many times have I gotta tell you? I work with a palette knife.
Sid stands, looks around the room, then paces, gesturing aimlessly to make his point.
Work? Where's work? I don't see any work. I don't even see a palette knife. Want to know why? I'll tell you why. Because there isn't one. That's why.
The two men stare blankly at each other, then Bernie nods towards the end of the sofa, nearest Sid.
It's over there.
What? Over where?
Right next to you. What do you think it is?
Sid looks down, leans over, picks something up from behind the sofa and produces a half-eaten jar of peanut butter, the handle of a palette knife protruding from the open top. He removes the knife and holds it up with two fingers.
I think there's some crackers around here somewhere.
Sid drops the knife back into the jar.
I don't need this. You want to feel sorry for yourself? Knock yourself out. I didn't come over here to be insulted.
Why did you come?
Because you called, because you're my brother.
Cain and Abel were brothers.
Fuck you, Bernie.
Sid checks out Bernie's ankles and spots an immense pile of unopened mail scattered on the floor.
How long has this been piling up?
I don't know, a month or so.
You haven't opened any of them?
Why? Bills and rejection letters?
Sid leans down, starts fanning through the mail.
Rejection of what?
Told you, I've been sending my stuff out.
Stuff? What stuff? Where?
Bernie points indifferently over to his shoulder to a tarp-covered object in the corner of the room. Sid crosses to the tarp and pulls it back, revealing a multitude of paintings stacked on the floor. He starts rifling through the paintings.
Jesus, there's gotta be 30 or 40 of these here.
Yeah, you can burn the whole shit pile.
Sid carefully slides out one of the paintings, holds it up, studies it, replaces it, removes another picture, scrutinizes it, then replaces it and turns to Bernie, nonplussed.
My God, these are incredible. Bernie!
He crosses back to the pile of mail, starts going through it, takes out a large manila envelope, glances at it, tears it open, pulls out a letter and scans it. His eyes widen. He shuffles through the pile again, finds another envelope, opens it, takes out the enclosed letter, and reads it. He carries the two letters over to Bernie, unceremoniously tossing them at him, then crosses back to the paintings, starts looking at each one. Bernie manages to pick up the letters and scans them.
Santa Fe? New York? Sid, they want to show my stuff.
No shit.
Sid quickly crosses to his coat, starts pulling it on.
Where's your coat? Bedroom?
Sid heads towards the bedroom door.
Don't go in there, Sid. God damn it, don't!
Sid ignores him and disappears through the door. Bernie slumps, stares into space. A moment, then Sid slowly steps out of the bedroom door, watches Bernie, his expression now soft and pained.
God. Bernie. When did it... How long has it been?
Sid's voice trails off. He crosses to the sofa, sits on the arm next to Bernie. Bernie struggles with his emotions, takes a drink, shakes it off, then speaks in a soft voice.
This morning, got sick, just gave up the fight. Couldn't walk anymore. Carried him into the bed and he died in my arms, Sid. Looked right in my eyes before he looked right up at me. Just kind of like he was telling me it was gonna be okay. Like he knew.
I'm sorry. I know how much you loved him.
Bernie starts to choke up. He grits his teeth.
I'll get your coat.
Sid crosses into the bedroom. A moment, then he reappears at the bedroom door, holding a pill bottle.
You know, Bernie, you are one hell of an artist. Brilliant, even. I'll give you that. But as a rational, thinking human being, you are the most pathetic, oblivious cretin I've ever known. Lost your pills, did you?
Yeah, so?
Max found them.
What do you mean?
He's not dead, you idiot.
What?
He ate them, you dumb shit. He's stoned.
That's impossible.
Bernie, dead dogs don't lick their balls.
Close on Bernie as it dawns. He suddenly breaks down.
What the hell is wrong now?
Max barks off screen. Bernie gradually regains his composure, looks over at Sid, breaks into a huge, tearful grin.
This is the best goddamn day of my life. Sid,
What?
I gotta take a leak.
So?
You're gonna have to help me.
Shit.
Max barks off screen. Fade to black.